So, fellas, thoughts on the Wiggles?
Game changers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Would you agree that they're the modern day Beatles?
For kids, yeah.
Yeah.
I think for kids, they transcended music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. With fruit salad.
Now, do we know if they're good people or not?
Oh, they're fucking great people.
Are they? Because you know, like sometimes they
get convicted of something.
Yeah, they get convicted of some crazy shit.
Nothing like
the
that.
Wiggles.
To my knowledge, they have not been canceled, and they still tour.
If we get canceled because we promoted the Wiggles, and it turns out that they just did terrible things.
Don't make me Google the Wiggles criminal record. I don't think there has been. I just
like to be sure.
I really don't think there has been.
You know who the modern day Wiggles is, though? I don't know, Jared. Will won't know what I'm talking about, but Danny Go.
Dude, I knew where you were going, but I forgot his fucking name.
Dude, for people that play, like, if you play the sound map game,
the game thinks everyone is obsessed with this guy.
Yeah,
because everyone gets him.
I have like 30 Danny Go. Some of them are shiny. Like I'm really amassing like a nice collection of Danny Go.
Yeah, if he gets big, we're gonna be. I'm rich
rolling in it. Yeah. We need like a listening party or something. Because I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even hit the preview.
Me neither. I never have either.
He could just be like straight up metal. I'm guessing not by the pictures.
That'd be such a fake out.
Yeah, but if I'm assuming Danny Go is like the Wiggles. I don't know.
Yeah. Who fucking knows? Danny Gray. Is that what it is?
No, Danny Go.
Danny Go. That's it.
Danny Gray just sounds emo.
It does. It sounds like an indie artist or something. It's like
Danny Gray.
Danny Gray with the White Mustang album coming out in October 31st.
You know who would go perfectly? Like, who could headline that show? It's like Danny Go underneath. Uncle Monkeys.
Uncle Monkeys.
Uncle Monks.
Call back to last week's episode. Welcome to Carver and Tranquility, everybody. Yeah, so the Uncle Monks.
Remember the name.
Remember the name.
When the first time you heard Uncle Monks.
How did we come up with that? Like, how did that come about last week?
You just made a mistake in your speech.
Oh, when I said Arctic Monkeys, but I said Uncle Monkeys. Yeah. That's what it was. That's what it was.
That'll be a funny, like, Wikipedia. Like, you know how they came up with the name of their band, right? Like, it was one of those classic, like, Jared couldn't talk moment.
Yeah, which has happened many times to me with many different things. My voice gets weird, and then it says something.
Usually something that great doesn't come out of that, though. We just kind of laugh about it.
Yeah, it's just like
Uncle Monkeys is that's a great it's a great name.
Yeah. Welcome back, guys. It's been another beautiful week. How has your week's been so far?
You know, it's been a week.
Yeah,
it's been all 7 days happened. I can say that.
So the usual.
I counted.
Yeah.
Kept track as best I could.
I can't wait until we have a week that's just so interesting that we actually have something. Well, we did a couple weeks ago with Rufus.
Yeah,
we did talk about
you guys talked about that.
Okay, my God. Yeah. One day we'll be able to stop complaining about how all we do is work all day.
Don't talk about work.
I know, sorry.
Don't even bring it up.
Sorry.
No.
That was me slapping myself.
Yeah, that was Jared slapping himself. No one hit him.
Yeah.
We did not abuse Jared. I just want he hit himself.
Yeah.
Right. Just want to make sure that that's out there.
Yeah. What did we start with last week, guys? What did we get? We started
puppets.
We did
the puppets of shadows or it was the shadow puppets.
No, we started with Julian.
Did we?
Main episode. Infinity on
High. Right.
Infinite damn it. Talking about Fall Out Boy albums, Infinity on High and Instant Crush. So yeah, this week, fellas.
You're like a grandma that forgets like all her kids' names.
I am.
Like, mixing all the songs.
I'm a fucking idiot. This week we're doing No Buses by Arctic Monkeys, which is from the EP Who the Fuck Are the Arctic Monkeys? It's No Buses. It is a very, very popular song among the Arctic Monkeys community. We're doing No Buses and Infinity Repeating by Daft Punk featuring Julian Casablancas, which was a demo from them that they made into a song. And it's beautiful. It's another beautiful Daft Punk song with Julian on it. It's the second one, yeah. Manny, do you have any thoughts on No Bus? Do you know this song?
I do know this song. I know this song pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
When did this come out? Do you know?
This one was 2006. The same time as it was with an EP that came out with that album. Yeah.
Yeah, it's So I remember it well. It's like one of those like underground favorites. Like just because you maybe have heard like a lot of Arctic Monkeys doesn't necessarily. This could be one that you missed, especially if like you only know like kind of their first album and you didn't really dive much deeper at the time.
Yeah.
This is one of those songs. You guys probably know, like when you're looking at like Arctic Monkey songs, sometimes you forget the era that it's in because so many of them are similar, and I feel like No Bus. That's why I had to ask, like, when was that? Because that could have been like
I thought it was with. You know what? That's what I was gonna say. That's why because when you think of songs that are like this, to me, this song reminds me of what's the one on Favorite Worst Nightmare? Only Ones Who Knew.
Yeah.
That like that. It's that style. It's like electric.
Yeah,
I know. The Only Ones Who Knew was slower, but I didn't know if this was an EP that was within the first one or the second one. But then I knew I did my research because I put it on this season. So that's what we were doing for there. 86.8 million streams, pretty hefty for an EP song. 2006. What else was I gonna say? I feel like I was gonna say something else. Okay, maybe not. Anyway, before we get too deep into it, let's give it a listen. Fans, it is called No Buses. It's from the Arctic Monkeys EP, Who the F are Arctic Monkeys. So who the fuck are Arctic Monkeys? 2006. No Buses. Hit pause on the pod, hit play on the song. Let's give it a listen. What do you guys think?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Alright guys, that was No Buses from the Who the Fuck Are Arctic Monkeys EP. You can tell that this song was made during the time of their debut album, just from the style. It reminds me a little bit of Marty Bum, like the style that this is. It's a clean, electric. It's not you know what I mean when I say acoustic? Like it's not a lot of it's hard to explain.
Yeah, it's not like the full band setup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They all still, there is bass and drums. It's just not like the full ensemble power that you get. To me, it reminds you of just an acoustic song, an electric acoustic song.
What this song always reminded me of was like a school talent show. Like if Alex had to do like a school talent show, or not had to, if he wanted to. Yeah. Like this is something he probably would have like done. That's the vibe that I get. It gives me like high school vibes. Yeah, it's because that's when I heard it.
They don't have all their equipment. They're just like, this is what I got.
But yeah, like it's just you. Like, hey, I learned these simple chords. Like, gonna play this song, and the girls go crazy because it's like a love song or whatever. And it's,
that's cool.
That's the vibe that I always got from this song.
Yeah.
Doesn't make it any less better, but yeah.
Yeah, said the blind man _ said that it's pretty much about, I see it as a guy being approached by a girl who usually has all the boys coming on to her, but once those admirers are gone, he's a safety net. He's pondering whether it will be okay to be with her for selfish reasons, even though he's her rebound. That's pretty much exactly what this is about, I believe. That's kind of like how I took it when you look at the lyrics. And then someone also commented, it's deleted accounts, that I heard that it's supposed to mean that buses never come by when you need them desperately, when you're not looking for one. They seem to drive by you all the time, like wanting to be desired, basically. I think the song is about the complexity of wanting and wanting to be wanted. I thought that was a joke at first, but now when I read the whole thing...
Yeah, no, that's
it's a good, said. It's a good...
It's poetic. Was that Alex?
No, maybe it was a deleted account. Maybe it was.
It was him. He was like, it was his burner account or something.
Yeah, I think it's about... I think it's when you want something, and then... like the person wants you, and then as time goes on, like what this person's saying, they don't want you, but then you want them. So that's kind of something. And a lot of people are saying the same type of stuff. It's more of like the love, like you didn't want something now, but then you do. It's like could have had it, coulda, woulda, shoulda type shit.
Which I think is why it's so reminiscent of high school, because I feel like we all kind of went through something similar like that around that age, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, like I want you, but then I don't want you, but then she wants you, but now she wants this guy, but she still wants you. Like it's just very
a lot of wanting, but you can't get
commit. What you want.
Yeah, like you don't your commitment type shit, issues. Well, thoughts on the song initially. I think in terms of, I don't think anything specific stands out because I don't think there's anything super ridiculous happening musically, but it is I love the sound of a nice clean guitar on an amp like that. You can tell that he's using, at least how I would play that, he's using his thumb to go bring, 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 like he's using his thumb, like his nice clean like strum down. He could easily be using a pick.
I've always thought the opposite. It seems pickish to me.
You do? Maybe I'd have to listen to the pluck at the beginning, but to me, I feel like I could create that.
It just seems
best.
so clean.
Well, when it gets going, it is. When it goes ding, ding, ding,
maybe
ding,
in the
ding,
beginning.
ding. I think at the beginning he's doing like a little thump. Like, I love the sound of a clean guitar sound like that. I'm trying to think of a way to describe or like compare what it sounds like. It's very like classic sounding to me. The way that this is put together, there's some drum. You can tell the drums come in like do 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 like, but throughout the main part of the song, it's like little, they're doing.
Yeah,
like
well, my favorite thing about this is because the first thing that stands out is the guitars, right? Because that's mainly what you hear.
That's the main thing you pick out from it.
Yeah, but then like midway through the song, the drums kind of kick in, and what I love as like a percussionist is like everyone thinks of like drums, but like you have your tambourines and such, right? So like there's tambourines in this. There's a lot of hi-hat work, and he kind of embellishes a little bit there. Like he gets like a split, like, a couple seconds in there to really like kind of hit the drums hard. But for the most part, it's like just these general like very basic percussion sounds, and I love that. That's like that's what you first learn when you were a kid, like learning percussion. Like they set you up with a tambourine, and then like when you get good enough, like I remember on my drum kit, I had like a tambourine set up to where like if I wanted to play that, I would just sit it there like almost like a tom. And just have that right there.
Yeah.
Because it's such a fun little thing to use. So
yeah.
I always love that about the song. It's very simplistic, both in the guitar, but then also how the drums are set up.
It's I think it's really, really well produced too. The sound of everything that's in this song just sounds so clean, and it could have easily been on the album, but I see why it's off of the EP versus the album. Because you got a song like Marty Bum already on the album. This would kind of be another one that was exactly like that.
So right at the end though, like you kind of get that little surf and turf thing that they do like throughout the first album, where like it kind of I don't know, it could fit in there, but I think you're right. It was just they already had a very similar song already in there.
I know Marty Bum sounds completely different, but to me, they're both... Oh my god. Well, Marty Bum's still kind of, but Riot Van is the one that I'm thinking of more so. Yeah. That one doesn't get too crazy. Marty Bum is obviously
it's a little
more
higher
upbeat.
Tempo, but
Riot Van's the one I'm thinking of. I feel like Riot Van and this one wouldn't have made... I would have replaced this with Riot Van
think so too.
Any day. Yeah. Personally, I think this one's 10 times better. But in terms of what sticks out, the guitar... Obviously, it's like the main thing you hear. His vocals are obviously great for it, but I think the lyrics are interesting in this one too, which can bring us to the lyrics section. But I personally think the lyrics are big. Will, we haven't heard from you that much. What do you got? What do you got?
I'm fucking dying over here trying not to sneeze. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, you picked like the worst time. I just closed my lyrics by accident.
Dang it. I know. With the way that this is another example of Alex being Alex with his lyrics and making something out of nothing, personally. I know there's a part, let me see, where's the one that I'm looking for? I do like, where should I go? Oh, when she thinks she's the one, but she's just 1 in 24. I love that. That's a clever way of doing it. He also said the word antiseptic in this song. How can you put that fucking word in the song? Antiseptic to the sore. Lady, where's your love gone? It was the antiseptic to the sore. To hold your hand must be the first in demand. How he longs for you. Like, how do you put antiseptic in a song and still make it catchy and make sense to the song? It's fucking crazy.
I just like that chorus where it's like, let's go down, down. And at the end, it's just because everyone's doing it, does that mean I can too? But like the little pause, like, dum, dum, dum.
Yeah.
That part
so the melody is what you take away, like really from how he delivers the lyrics and how that was written.
There's a great melody in this song.
Yeah. The cool thing about this song is that every part of the song is different besides that part, the main chorus. Like, there's a lot of different lyrics to read, to where you're getting... a lot of variety in terms of lyrics. There's not a lot of repeating what's going on, and it's just it's not short. It's 3:19, so it's a standard time to a point where you're getting a good song in a good time with good lyrics, like a good ballad type. I know it's not a ballad, but a ballad type song where you're singing about a certain love situation, or buses that can translate to a situation like that, whether it's buses being there
metaphor,
but nowhere you need it, or a person that when you want it but they're not there, but when you do need it, like they're not around, or you know what I mean, like something like that. So I think lyrics like that like are really what stands out to me. They always offer when there's loads of love around. When you're short of some, it's nowhere to be found. Like, I think we all can relate to some with that, whether it's relationships or people or just anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like someone where you might have that friend, or someone where you need them, they're not there, but when you don't, they're there. I think we all have situations like that, and this is a song that I think lyrically catches on to that. Will, you good over there? Okay. Will's having a hard time with his nose this week, guys. We're giving him some breaks. But that's what I interpret from the lyrics. Is there anything that stood out to you, Manny, that you haven't?
No, just everything that I had already kind of mentioned there. Because it's just such a simple song. Like there's not, It's weird because lyrically, like there's a lot there, but it's presented in such a simplistic way that it almost feels wrong to like deep dive into it. Does that make sense? Like you ever just like sometimes you just gotta enjoy things for like
it's not
how they are. Like it's very like straightforward. So it's not like some of his other stuff where like you almost feel like you have to dissect it. Like, well, what does he mean by this and that? Like this is just a straightforward, you know, like you said, kind of a ballad type, a vibe to it. So yeah,
that's good. Will, you got anything? No, we're all good. Cool. This week we were not able to get fan comments on these guys. Sorry about that. That will not be a thing going forward, but it was a crazy week, so we just weren't able to get shit on there. But I know that I had something I wanted to share with you guys. Did you guys first of all, when's the last time you guys heard this song?
it's probably years for me.
Years?
Yeah.
Dang, when we first started this podcast, because I wanted to like learn like some of the like hidden songs, if there was any, and this one popped up, and I was like, oh, I never heard this before. It's like literally like probably a month or two ago.
Okay.
A month or two ago?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's been a while. Well, not as long as like years, but like a little bit. Not like yesterday.
Did you like it more the first time you heard it, or the second time around, or is it kind of the same for you?
Probably. I mean, it's definitely like a song that's grown on me more, especially like since I first.
Did you like have you heard it more than once, or was it just like one and done? Like, all right, cool.
It was like I listened to it for like a good week because
Okay.
it was like on a transition of like monkey songs, just like to get like we were first starting to get like that vibe of it again. Because I was like pushing myself like, oh yeah, listen to the Strokes, listen to Monkeys.
Yeah.
And No Bus was like ones that kept like popping up on there. But yeah, like definitely the more I listened to it, the more I liked it.
Okay.
I looked just cause on Reddit, so someone 7 months ago was doing a song rating for No Buses. There are so many 9s and 10s on this one. A lot of people saying 9s and 10s in terms of what people thought about it. Not a lot of comments, just kind of rankings. So it's clear that a lot of people in the Arctic Monkeys community really like this song. Some people said, unpopular opinion, No Buses is the best AM song. There's also a song that people mention called Too Much to Ask that I'm really excited to get to. That's an EP song by them, one of my favorites. A lot of people have been mentioning that. That and The Bakery. They talk about... The Arctic Monkeys have a lot of EP
The Bakery
songs.
is really good, too.
Yeah, they have a lot of EP songs that we need to somehow fit in. Panda Cheyenne said, I reckon compiling all their best EP tracks in an album would make their best album. So, like, Too Much to Ask, No Buses, The Bakery, Catapult, Stop the World.
Stop the World is great. Have you guys heard... I don't know if it's like how it was released, but I've heard it a couple of times on YouTube, but a lot of these types of songs are on there where they did like an acoustic... I think the title of it was like Rainy Day Acoustic Arctic Monkeys. So, it was something like that. Have you guys ever heard that?
No.
I'll have to share that with you because it's a lot of songs like this that they play acoustically.
Yeah.
For like specifically like a rainy day setting, and it works so perfectly. But this is one of the songs that they have on that album. Again, I'll have to look it up, but it's phenomenal.
a deleted account that I don't think there's many other songs that illustrate romantic melancholy as well as No Buses. I would say the same about The Bakery and The Only Ones Who Know. I actually haven't listened to Bakery forever. I forget what it sounds like. So I'm going to have to...
Well, there's different versions of it. There's like the studio, like the album version.
Yeah.
But again, the Rainy Day version is 100 times better than the actual produced version. Like I don't even honestly don't really like that song that much, except for the acoustic version.
Yeah, I'll have to listen to that then. A lot of people are saying this is the one that got them into them, like to get to listen to the first record. I remember this is one, I still remember when I heard this for the first time. It was way back in like 2015. I was at one of my coworkers' house, and they were talking about the Arctic Monkeys, and this is the one that they mentioned was their favorite. And I remember listening to it in the car and then in the house, and like I was obsessed with this one. This is one of the ones where I was like, this is what I associate with the band. This was one of them back then, but that was before I got super into them and had more of an opinion on them. So this one is definitely important in the discography, definitely important to me. Rankings, guys, what do we got?
That's a tough one.
It is a toughie. It's a great song.
It is a very, very, very tough one.
I don't think it's deserving of a 5. I'll start there. It is very great.
Yeah,
I would say 4.6.
Oh, it's pretty high.
4.6. Okay.
It is a really solid song when I'm thinking about it now. Like, replaying it in my head again. It's an EP song, right? It's not even on the album.
Nope.
I wish it was like a... I don't know, like, I guess that doesn't really matter, but, like, I just wish it was, like, an actual, like album song. I don't know. I guess it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But musically, no, like, it's fun. I like you said, I like how clean that guitar is. There's, like, certain sounds when you think of, like, the Arctic Monkeys. Like, you might think of, like, the AM kind of sound or, like, the car or, like this, like, Marty Bum, like, clean. And I'm with Jared. Like, when I think of the Arctic Monkeys, I think of, like, Marty Bum or, like, a certain romance, like, that really clean, like, ding, 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 like, light guitar. And I think of other songs, too, but, like, these are the first ones that come to mind.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we're doing this, because this song, I probably wouldn't have ever discovered it if we didn't, like, really, like, took a dive into the Monkeys ever.
Yeah, it's a hidden gem for sure.
Yeah. That's why I rate it pretty high. I don't think it's a 5, because it's not a masterpiece, and there are some songs that deserve to be masterpiece. I don't think this one is one, unfortunately, but it's a pretty good song.
Yeah, I would say this is a tough one to rank.
It is. I'm struggling.
Right, because it's like, it's great, but is it like... I know we're not supposed to... Well, I guess you could.
This is one of the ones that's gonna... I'm gonna have to dig into my, like, feelings with it and the relationship I had with it, like, when I first got into it, because, like, I'm kind of pissed giving it a higher ranking, because there's some songs on whatever people say that I'm not, that I ranked lower, that are definitely more complicated, that have more to it.
But that's the thing, is, like, I keep saying, like, it's such a simple song that it's, like... I can't dock it points for not being as intricate.
I know, that's why
like,
I'm trying to feel like go into like how it's...
That's what makes it so tough to rate. I'm gonna put it at a 4.1.
Okay.
Yeah, like I think that's fair. I think it's above being like a good, like a really good Arctic Monkey. It's right in there. Like it's, you know, kind of what you would expect from them. But it's a lighter song, right? So it doesn't hit you quite as fast or as hard. But if like you've ever been in that situation, that song will resonate with you. And so I have got to put it at a 4.1.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go 3.9.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's a safe air. I feel like when I'm not too sure when to put a song, like 3.9, because it's
tough.
Teetering.
It's weird. I didn't really think about how tough that was gonna be to rank.
Yeah.
Because it does resonate. It resonates a lot with me in terms of what got me into them, and I don't know why I keep thinking that ranking it a 3.9 out of 5 is a bad rating. It's not. It's like
not.
It's above a mid rating. I just can't. You know, there's better songs. But I do think if I was really, really putting my feelings 100% into it, could boost it up to a 4, just because of what it meant to me when it first came out. Like, I was really obsessed with it. But now that, you know, I've been a fan of them for so long, I know what else is out there.
Yeah.
I know I'm probably going to look back at that and be like, this is actually probably lower compared to some of the ones that I've, like, given, because I think The Only Ones Who Know, spoiler, is a better song, personally. And I know, so like I know I'm gonna look at, but right now, like where my mind's at, that's about what I'm thinking there for that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's that one was like harder to rank than I think a lot of them. I don't know why. Like usually I had to look at my other.
It's not on the album itself, so
Yeah. Yeah, that was definitely the toughest one to rank in a very long time. I don't understand. I know it's because it wasn't on the album, but that's just part of it. But it's mainly just because I'm thinking about just the overall scale. But anyway, that was No Buses, guys. No Buses by Arctic Monkeys from Who the Fuck Are the Arctic Monkeys EP. I love that they named that. Like that's so them from that time. Let's move on to Infinity Repeating by Daft Punk featuring Julian Casablancas. So this one was a 2013 demo, but it came out on the 2023 remastered 10th anniversary of Random Access Memories. So, which is pretty cool. So it was recorded back then, but it just came out last year for people to hear. Which they must love Julian a lot since they gave him 2 songs that like to do on it. So they first met him back in 2010 during their work on the soundtrack of Tron, and they had mutual friends, Warren Fu, who worked with Julian on his stuff. Casablancas heard the instrumental demo for this song, which Daft Punk said they had no intentions to finish. After Julian expressed a desire to write the song, he recorded vocals thinking that another collaborator like Stevie Wonder might sing in his place, which when you hear it, I think that would actually work pretty well. With the way it sounds, I really do see that. But he did talk about how it existed for a while, but it wasn't put on the album just because that whole album's perfect with what they did with it. But this one, guys, actually is credited as a Julian Casablancas and the Voids performance. So it was, that's how it's credited with on the actual song title. It's sung single by Daft Punk and Julian Casablancas plus the Voids. So this was obviously, when he was in that era when it was recorded, and because 2013 was the year that he got together with the Voids. So it's kind of a stroke Voids and Julian like all together in one thing for this week. But there's a lot of cool things about that. But before getting too into it, let's give it a listen. But still, this one has 24.3 million streams. So pretty big for just coming out last year. Big deal. That's a big deal. And yeah, ready to give this guy a listen?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Oh, fans, search Infinity Repeating, Daft Punk, or just search Infinity Repeating. It's gonna pop up. It says featuring Julian Casablancas and the Voids from 2023. It's from the Random Access Memories anniversary album. So search that, hit pause on the pod, and hit play on the song we're about to listen. Let's do it. Alright guys, that was Infinity Repeating by Daft Punk featuring Julian Casablancas. Was recorded in 2013 but released last year. Yeah, like I said, the last part of that was definitely the Voids, because that was literally just cymbals and a kick drum and no snares and a guitar solo. It's so weird. Because how do you have a guitar solo with no snares?
Right.
But what do you guys think? What do you think about that one?
It was interesting. Yeah, it was interesting. Knowing, like, what you said before of, like, this is really, like, one of the first things, I guess, right, that they, like, got to do together, probably. So,
yep.
So that made it a little bit more interesting. Made me want to pay attention to it a little bit more.
Yeah. What would you say you think of this one versus, like, Instant Crush? Like, would you see some similarities? Do you, like, what...
I think Instant Crush is catchier. Like, that's something I would listen to again. This is the type of song where, like, for me, I might not know that, like, I had already heard this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Whereas, like, Instant Crush is recognizable enough that, like, I'm like, oh, right. Yeah, I've heard this before.
Yeah.
So that's like kind of my initial thought with that.
Yeah.
Not to say that it's bad, but it doesn't quite, like, it's not as recognizable as I think some of their later things.
Well, this one was a demo, so
makes sense.
Yeah, it was not made to kind of be like a single on the album or something like that. Will, what were you gonna say? Oh, okay. Well, so I have kind of a description on like what it's about, which is like super interesting. It definitely like plays to the robot stuff. Acrobat-Charge 6543 said The lyric, it's not right, it's not true, it's not right, it's not how we used to do. I think this refers to life after becoming robots. We see and refer to them as robots, but really they're human. The lyric, what he does well, and he knows it laid down, just lay down. I think this is saying they continued as robots because they know the impact it had. They know it was good and celebrated, but they are tired. They know what they need to do. I was crossing the border. We were waiting in line. I don't want any other. Two old friend coincidences. Coincidences. Voice inside my head. It is sad. Mine or yours. I think this means they were coming at a crossroads and had to make a decision. Maybe they both felt the same hints of sadness inside themselves and from the other, but avoided talking about it for fear they'd be at an end, a bittersweet and difficult decision, I imagine. All that said, it could mean absolutely none of that. Heck, it could have been made with no meaning at all, intentionally gibberish because it's what sounded the best, which they've done before, but being what seems is their true farewell song, and even talked back then about this being the last. That's how I interpret it. I also find it interesting, the music video, the end brought them back to the beginning. It's called Infinity Repeating, which could imply that they could come back. I doubt it, not as robots anyway, but it's an ambiguous way to leave the door cracked open. Yeah, so sticking with the robot theme, it's cool because the way the lyrics are in this song, they're weird and they don't really make sense when you read them. Like they don't like sound right. But I'm a guy that loves a concept. I love a concept album. I love when artists can be a concept. Like, you got Daft Punk and, they're robots, right? You got 21 Pilots and the lore that I'm just saying them because they're recent on my mind. Like, it's the lore that they have. You got, when the Beatles did Sgt. Pepper, they got that whole get up and, like, theme about it. Dark Side of the Moon is a concept. Like, this album and like their whole persona, like who they are is a concept. I'm trying to think of another. I'm sure there's bands that Slipknot, right? I know it's a whole different, like they're masked and they have gorillas, like that's their concepts, and that's what Daft Punk is. And it's cool that Julian got involved with them because they said too backstage after finishing a concert from the Voids in 2014, Julian met with Thomas and urged him to release the song, which is this one. In 2020, Julian expressed he had tried to collaborate with them again, but they were not working on music duo at the time, and then they announced they'd split. And then when they announced the anniversary, it was confirmed they were going to release it then, which I think is like a perfect time. So it's cool that I really would have been interested to see if they kept Julian like in their band, the type of music that they could have created. I love the way Julian sounds in this like way, this style of music with Daft Punk. I think you get a taste of it in the Voids, but I don't think you don't get it this clean.
Yeah.
Like you definitely feel the Voids at the end of the song just going fucking crazy on drums, but you don't get really this clean. Maybe if you look at Virtue, the Void's second LP, there's some cleaner songs on there for sure, because you got Leave It in My Dreams, you got Pink Ocean, like you got some clean stuff. But this one, like Daft Punk's a little bit more tame with some of it. There's also a song, man, I think you would absolutely love. It's instrumental song with just incredible drums on it. I forget if I see the song title. I know exactly. We'll listen to it in the car, but I'm pretty sure it's Touch. But it's an 8-minute song. But it's just the monologue of like the guy talking about music and like himself, and literally it's just filled with at the end just an incredible drum. And we didn't even talk about like the bass in this song. Yeah, it's fire in this song.
Yeah,
like it's like shit like that. Like that's if we're gonna talk about like it stood out to us the most. Like to me, the bass in this one.
Yeah, I would say that also.
Would you? Yeah, it was crazy. In this one, if you're a bass fan, I'm gonna look at who the personnel. It doesn't even tell me who the personnel. I assume it was someone from Daft Punk. I doubt the bass was the Voids because it didn't really sound like some of the Voids would do, but. The bass in this song, if you're looking for a funky bass line, I mean everything with Daft Punk is kind of like that, so if you're used to that, you're definitely getting a shit ton of that just in this demo. Like that's the cool thing about this song was a demo.
Yeah,
does it really sound like a demo to you? Like completely
it sounds polished.
Yeah, which they probably definitely did polish it a little bit, but like if you have demos like this just sitting in your back pocket, like you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
Will, what do you think? What do you got?
No, that pretty much covered everything I was gonna say. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Is what it is. It's a great song. I like the AI version of it. Like, I feel like the picture of, like, it's like AI came to life and like kind of made a song. Especially like how they released it, like you said, like last year, and like how like Chat GPT was a big thing, like AI is a big thing nowadays. So I was like, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, the music video, it's just like a created, it's like them walking and the outfits change, like the different people. You should put it on, but it's just like them it's just an animated thing.
Yeah, it's like different cultures, like the robots part of it, and it goes like a samurai from one part. And
and they have their helmets on it,
it's
like all the time.
Yeah, like a George Washington, like a robot leg at one point.
Yeah.
It's like really cool just to watch.
Yeah.
I used to watch it at my room just like on repeat for not like hours, but like probably 2 or 3 times in a row. I'm like, that's pretty cool. Just because the music video is really cool. And it has like a robot like kind of like destroying itself with how fast it's running, and it turns into like a circle. But that's how the song like starts off, like a circle drawing. Yeah, it's really cool.
What do we got? I know we covered kind of like on the meaning of the lyrics, but do any of you guys have some lyrics you want to talk about that you kind of enjoyed listening to, that you liked? Did you have anything, Will?
I actually didn't even follow the lyrics.
You did?
Well, that's the thing. Like with his stuff and like anything Voids, like I don't want to say I give up on the lyrics, but it's clearly not the focal point of like what they do.
I think this song you can hear him a lot better stuff like this.
You definitely can. It's not full blown Voids.
You probably give him a different kind of mic, like setup.
Yeah, I think we covered like pretty much mainly what the lyrics cover there. It's a lot of repeat, but the stuff that they do have like in there, you can definitely take what they're trying to accomplish. Like they're trying to be robots. You can definitely take like when you read it, that's kind of a robot trying to describe the situation, which at least that's how I take it. Because if you know the lore from like Daft Punk, that's really what they are. And again, I just think Julian's voice like fits perfectly with what they try to do.
I love the weekday voice, like weekday. I can't.
Yeah. The harmonies, the harmonies in this. It's the Julian's delivery on everything.
It's just a single word, but like weekday, like the way he says it, he's like singing, like weekday, and it goes up and in.
And then the second time he does it, there's like a weekday. There's like a deeper vocal and is high. The falsetto is always there, but it's always. I'd love to play this song like on acoustic and harmonize like this one, and it's probably pretty easy. It's the same chords. Yeah, exactly. The bass it sounds complicated, but it's not really. It's beautiful to listen to. It's really groovy, which is cool. Like and the drums aren't even really drums. It's just kind of sounds like bongos, like and then at the end, that's when everything kind of comes in.
Or Two Old Friend Coincidences. That one's just really like fun to say when he sang it too with the song.
Yeah, I just, and we say it all the time, and I'll say it again. It's just Julian's delivery on how he sings lyrics. Sometimes it's hard to sing his stuff over unless you know the songs completely. I know I struggle with that with Old Hollywood. Like when you read the lyrics, unless you're following it with like line by line tracking, some stuff when you listen to how he sings things is so complicated. This is another example. In parts of it. I did go on a Reddit post for fans since we didn't have our own to kind of get some comments. Gene0406 Alex commented, "What do you think about Infinity repeating?" It's actually on the Daft Punk Reddit. So please welcome the Daft Punk Reddit here. Currency is cool, said it's great. Not gonna lie, when it first came out, I wasn't the biggest fan. I really loved Horizon and GLBMTM outtakes, so this one didn't really register with me. However, upon listening to it more, it really grew on me. Julian gives a great vocal performance, and I love the layered percussive elements in the background. The way it culminates at the end is really fantastic. I've also heard people say they don't think it fits with the rest of Random Access Memories as a whole, and that it was right it was the right call to leave it off the album. I agree to that with an extent, but to me it does have the same feel that songs like Fragments of Time and Lesser Extent Beyond have. I'm glad they decided to release it now, though. Yeah, I mean, I know you guys haven't really listened to that album, but I think it would have been weird to have 2 songs with the same person on it. You know what I mean? I think if they did yeah. Do you guys know what Stevie Wonder sounds like?
Yeah.
I do think I could easily hear him being on a song like that.
Is he really
like especially with the way the synth is, like the way he plays piano and stuff?
Is he like Marvin Gaye, like really like high, like oh, like
yeah? He's the one that sings. What's the one that he would know? Higher Ground, maybe.
Yeah, that's one or
people keep on running.
Oh, that's Stevie Wonder?
Yeah, the Red Hot Chili Peppers covered it. That's like the one that people know. But what's the main fucking? You know what I'm thinking of it?
Yeah, hold on, I'm looking it up now because
you know which one I'm thinking of, right? It's a big. It's a yeah.
I don't know why when I think of Stevie Wonder, I think of Steve Urkel. Like my mind just
Oh my god,
puts those two people
Definitely not
together.
the same.
I know.
do that.
Isn't
I
she
know,
lovely?
but I just picture his
Yeah,
face.
isn't she lovely?
Oh,
Yeah, that's
Yeah. That's a song that like I resonate with like my childhood. Like my mom would listen to that shit, and I can like take it back to when I'd be a little kid driving in the van, and she'd have that shit playing.
Yeah.
On the fucking harmonica and shit. Yeah, like I could see him being on that song. Whiskey _ Hot Pot said, my gut reaction is that this is one of my top 10 Daft Punk songs of all time and one of the best from Random Access Memories. However, I'm suspicious of myself that maybe I'm just so excited to have new Daft Punk when I didn't expect any, and I'm overrating right now. No one replied to that, which is interesting, but I don't think you're overrating. I think it's a great song. Spot _ Mark said, it may just be a demo, but holy fuck, does it go insanely hard. Accomplished _ Law 4216 said, love it. It's in my top 5 Daft Punk songs. I don't know why it's called Demo. Julian's voice is so soothing here. Overall, it's very chilling, but at the same time, it has some unique energy to it. Plus, the ending is just incredible to me. It feels like the world is collapsing one drum at a time. That's a good way of describing that ending part.
Yeah.
What's significant is that Infinity Repeating is the last Daft Punk song that they wrote for themselves. How cool is it for like Julian to know that like he was a part of the last thing Daft Punk's ever released, like the end of like that legacy.
Cool.
Yeah, like that's got to be cool for him. Kobe saying the lyrics seemed unfinished, which is probably true. It's a demo, like did it, but I think it still hit the point of the lore of what the song was trying to do. Truly Nobody XIII said, it hits me hard. Infinity Repeating is Daft Punk's magnum opus in my eyes. To me, it's a message about moving on, a message about cycle of life, and a message about how we enjoy their music and how it lives on. You know what? I think if you were a Daft Punk fan, like if we were in their eyes where the band is like done and it was the last one, I think listening to this song and what it means probably has more of an effect on them than anyone else.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
sense.
if you were in their shoes, because of what the lyrics are, what the title is, what the music video is, like it's their final like ending to it. So I get, what they're saying. I guess I can't feel it like on their level because I'm not like
We're
a
not
massive
big
Daft
on
Punk
their-
fan.
Yeah.
I know I would feel that with like one of our like Strokes. Talking about like if we
It
had
was the
that,
last Strokes
I'm sure
song,
we'd
and
love the last song just because we'd be emotionally attached to it if they did it right.
Also, it was terrible.
Exactly, yeah, it's awful. You're hurt when you see it. Rella Mozzarella said, I love it, but I especially love how the music video is able to recontextualize the song by making it fit with Thomas's recent concerns about AI technologies, which is what Will was talking about. A perfect closer for the Daft Punk project. This is something I don't see talked about enough, though. I'm trying to find the comments that say stuff about Julian. Sky0204 said, anyway, just immensely nostalgic. Also, I love Julian's singing, especially the way he did Instant Crush. It's cool to read these comments on people that probably don't know much about the Strokes. Like, imagine being a Daft Punk superfan, you hear of Julian, and how many people probably heard him, then listened to the Strokes and listened to the Voids and be like, oh shit, I'm a Strokes fan now. Because after I heard this song, I got more into Daft Punk and I listened to all their shit. Do you guys know how long Daft Punk's been around?
Yeah, forever. Like they're like from the 90s.
Yeah, 93.
I feel like I
Yeah.
was born and they were just there. Like, they were there.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that. I thought they were like when the Killers came out, like 2002, 2004. I thought that's when they
Well, I
came
think they
out.
hit like a resurgence because that
Yeah,
was
93.
like
Oh, yeah, so
because you have to realize like when they got big again, right? So you're saying 93, right? Mm-hmm. And then 10 years later, 2003, it's like you have a whole new generation of people that don't know you, and so like they came out with a couple of really popular songs, and like that genre just kind of took off.
Yeah.
But I remember like that was what a lot of the older, cooler kids listened to, like Daft Punk. I wasn't into that. Like if like the 17-year-olds were listening to that, well, I'm like 10. I'm not listening to Daft Punk. So
yeah,
because
because most kids I knew, they were either listening to rap or literally it was Daft Punk. Like there was like my group, there wasn't no like rock. Most people didn't listen to rock, so it's cool that I'm listening. That's where I'm getting into right now. But it was either like literally rap, there's some people that listen to country, and then there's some people that listen to, like, some emo. Like, there's a small crowd, but is it, like, literally rap? Or, like, EDM, or, like...
I feel like Daft Punk was heavily tied into, like, the emo trend.
Yeah.
For sure. Like, they were... Because I used to, like...
I wouldn't know.
Yeah,
I
well,
think so.
because, like, when emo music was at its height, so, like, you're talking, like, I don't know, your MCRs and, like, even stuff like Hawthorne Heights, like... Daft Punk was massive, even though it wasn't the same genre. It was
red
the same
jumpsuit apparatus.
Red jumpsuit apparatus. The kids that listened to that stuff also were listening to Daft Punk, and I remember like if you weren't going to like shows that would be more like Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, you were definitely going to like fucking raves and stuff, and like this is what they played at raves, were like Daft Punk or remixes. Like I think Daft Punk kind of paved the way for like Skrillex. Like this was right before like Skrillex kind of took over and EDM was like a whole thing.
Yeah,
Daft Punk kind of really ushered that for kids of that generation.
100%. But I'll go to my cousin's house. He's not really a cousin, like a really close friend of our family, but we just call him my cousin. And him and my brother will always be playing like Guitar Hero, and then right after that they'll put on fucking Daft Punk.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's basically like that's a big part of my childhood. Just remember them listening to like Metallica and shit, and then Daft Punk. I'm like, oh, this
You almost
so
felt like,
interesting.
oh, I'm one of the cool kids now. I normally don't get to listen to this.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
I'm trying to look at like examples of people that were inspired by Daft Punk, but a lot of
probably anything in that space, I would imagine, because they were like the first. Like you think of like how early they started. Like imagine pitching that to a label. Like this is our songs, but we're robots though. We wear these helmets. We're actually
that's
always
so
going to
cool,
wear the
though.
helmets.
Like imagine like you don't have to be afraid to perform. Like for me, this is a thing, by the way. If you wear sunglasses or you just wear something that's kind of, at least
Big
for
Daddy.
me.
The Big Daddy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I know I could perform if I had a fucking whole ass helmet on. Like I wouldn't care. But when you cover, like, imagine how easy it is. Number one, I just love the concept. They just look fucking cool. They don't look like robots. Like
They didn't always look that cool.
Yeah, but they look so.
Money.
All their album covers, like, imagine creating that look. We're kind of getting off topic with like the Strokes / Julian, but still, like, let's give another band some credit here. Yeah. Like what they did, like with how they look, like it's fucking unique. Awesome.
It's unique, but it's one of those things of like you're not gonna see it. The only other thing that I can think of that like kind of got big was Deadmau5 and who's the other one? Marshmello.
Mm-hmm. You were dead on with the Skrillex thing because Skrillex is like number 2 on the list of people that were inspired. And Zed, okay. Dylan Francis. Yeah, you're right. All EDM shit. Yeah, it's LCD Sound System,
you don't
Water
have
Parks.
None of that without Daft Punk really just
Tame Impala.
Tame Impala, that's an interesting one. That's not one I would have thought of. But I can see it. I could kind of see it now.
Another band that I associate kind of with Daft Punk is Depeche Mode.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because they're very, like, reliant on technology. And I think those two guys have kind of, like, a concept going on. They're not, like, robots and shit, but I'm a recent Depeche Mode fan. They're fucking geniuses. I love them. Like, that's another example of, like, a guy where, like, the vocals make me really like them, just like the Strokes, Depeche Mode, the Smiths, Pulp. I love that sounding vocal. I wish I could give you guys an example. Well, kind of think of like the people that sing "Don't You Forget About Me," like that type of "Don't You Forget," like that type of like 90s vocal, 80s vocal, like those guys, like the Smiths and them, the Cars, like kind of that type of vocal style is like my thing, and it's so many times Julian and Alex have like replicated that, especially in the New Abnormal. Like Julian did a shit ton of stuff that sounded just like the Cars, and like that style of stuff. And then Pulp sounds exactly
in there.
Yeah, so it's a lot. I love that style. But anyway, that's Infinity Repeating. Infinity Repeating, guys. 2013 demo from the Random Access Memories, 10th anniversary. Where are we at for rankings? I'll go first. I'm giving this guy a 4.
4, okay.
Yep.
Solid 4.
I hate giving, now that we're doing points, I hate giving whole numbers, but I have to. That's where my mind is set.
I was thinking about this ranking for a minute. I'll just say based off, this is weird because it's like a weird song. Like it was made 2013, but it came out last year. So it's like it just reminds me of like.
Sounds like it could have
2013,
came out recently to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it sounds just like kind of like how it did back then, but like to me, it sounds like it could have come out anytime.
I want to say like a 4.5.
Hell yeah! Nice, nice.
Okay, I would put it at 3.6.
3.6.
Yeah, again, if I heard this like at that time when it was like made, then maybe I would like it more. Because I think I definitely had like a Daft Punk phase. I had the Skrillex phase, all that stuff. I like heavily grew out of that though. Like I really, you could not pay me to go to like a EDM festival. I'll lose my mind.
No.
I
No,
wouldn't.
it's just sounds.
I wouldn't now.
Like
I don't get it.
It's cool. Like I get it. I get. I understand. Like it's a.
I get
thing.
the vibe.
Yeah, I get the vibe,
but-
but it's literally just
Yeah.
noise.
I'll
Like,
never
when
put it on in my car.
Yeah, like if you
Ever.
put it on in the car, like it's like very overstimulating.
Yeah.
Because it's literally just robot
It's like
sounds.
Key and Peele, the sketch. Have you ever seen
Yeah,
that?
yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
It's
They like jump out of the window. Their like noses are bleeding.
Right.
They pull out their
Yes,
teeth and shit.
that's
Oh,
exactly
yeah.
what it
Dude, that's a
feels like.
perfect example.
Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah.
It's too
Yeah,
much.
but the shows are really cool though. Like,
Oh, I'm
the
sure,
lights
yeah,
and
like-
everything.
I honestly think I'd rather go to a country concert.
Oh hell no.
But
Okay, you lost
you
me
wouldn't?
now. No,
You'd rather
hell
go to an
no.
EDM?
I would almost rather do anything.
I feel like I could. I don't know. I feel like I could sit there.
Absolutely not.
I feel like I'd have an anxiety attack if I went
The
to an
only time-
EDM concert.
Yeah, but like you could at least have fun because it's like whatever. There's like there's probably stuff to do if you guys know what I mean. There's things in the crowd,
All right.
whatever
Well,
That you could get distracted very easily.
I feel like the people in a. I don't know.
no listen.
I feel like EDM crowd would be just too fucking annoying for me.
no, it'd
That's
be
all
fun
like
to be wild because there's
hipsters
always
and
something.
shit.
No, it's not hipster. No,
What
come
do you
on.
mean?
It's
All
not
the people
hipsters.
that I know that like EDM
Will has
are the
been
cringiest
I've only
people
been
I've
to
ever
Will
met.
has been to Will. Where was the location of this EDM? Where was it? What state? What time of year was it?
Denver. It was Firefly.
Okay,
You know,
so
Isaiah-
so, let me-
Firefly's
so,
not
Not
so-
Isaiah Solo. What's his name? I feel like you know him. Solo Han.
That's not
or-
fair. No, Firefly is not an EDM.
But Firefly
festival.
has EDM
That has
stuff
EDM artists.
though.
Well, yeah, but like
that's what I mean.
But there's so many other people that are
Right,
for
but the
other
people,
bands.
right? But the people that are there and gathered in that section to watch EDM
Mm-hmm.
is the same people. Like it's. But correct me if I'm wrong. Was there not a lot of interesting things to look at while you were?
What are you talking about?
Like, I'm
I was
saying,
just
like,
in
people-
like one place for the whole show, like the one I didn't move around at all. Oh, not that I didn't move around, but like I was in that one area. I didn't go to like the front or like the back. I was
What are
in
you
that
talking
one area.
about to look at?
Like,
I'm trying to
like
understand what you
it's
mean.
it's there's the people that go to EDM, like the crowds at EDM shows are it's a wild
Some of them
type
were
of
costumes.
some of them were
like, holding
costumes.
a
Dude, half those
dinosaur.
people you ever see like Burning Man and shit? Like half those people are like half naked. Like
Yeah.
it's wild.
That's like
It's-
indie shows.
Yeah, it's the same kind of melting pot.
So you're
But
talking
it's
about
just
if I go to
like-
an EDM concert, I'm going to see more tits.
Probably,
For sure,
yeah.
yeah.
Jesus
Absolutely.
Christ,
Yeah,
dude.
that's what it is. It's a lot of freeness. There's a lot of colors. There's a
Yeah.
lot of if it's nighttime, dude. Like
I was like, it's nighttime, so like you don't really see that many people. Most people are wearing like glow in the dark
glow,
stuff.
yeah, glow light.
Most people are just
it's
dancing. Like
Well,
it's just a
again,
vibe.
maybe the
You don't have to be like
maybe
fucked up.
maybe you know I'd have to think about it. Both would be horrible.
That would be way more
No.
fun than seeing. I don't know what's a
I think
country
country's
artist.
like nightmare fuel.
Well, again,
Right.
if you're talking about
Jared, you have to put in the perspective that we are brown. Okay, we
all
are,
right, listen,
we are
listen.
of the Spanish.
Maybe for the fun of it, like the way the crowd would be 100%, because country is just a bunch of like
If I go to a
drunk
country,
idiots. But
yeah,
but listening for me to just fucking noise. Country's not. I do get it. Like I don't like either, but I feel like being able to sit through each of them, I'd be able to. Now, if I was going to a festival, listen. If you were telling me I had to go to Wells Fargo Center to watch an EDM artist or a country
No, 'cause
artist,
you would go out- you'd
I'd
be
go to the
outside.
country artist.
No,
but if
you'd be
I'm
outside.
going to a festival, but
Yeah.
some EDM artists do play in stadiums.
I guess
Literally,
the
they
big
have stadium
ones,
tours.
The big ones.
Well, that's what I'm
yeah,
talking about.
but-
That's the only. I would never go to see a small one.
well, but if you're going to a festival, it might be a lot of
No, but that's
smaller artists.
That's
in that.
that's going to be my counterpoint. If I was going to a festival, I'd rather go to an EDM festival, not a country festival. That's what I'm saying.
What country artists are you talking about seeing? I'm just out of curiosity.
None. I don't want to see any
Well,
country
you can pick
artist.
one of the two. You either go see an EDM show or you see the supposed random country artist. Who is it?
No one. There's no country artist you could pay me to go see, but there's also no EDM artist I'd go see.
Right, but if you
either.
had to go to see, if you had to pay money to see one, because I know there's probably not a EDM artist that you know off the top of your head that you would pay actual dollars for. So
this is such a
give me
hard
your closet
question,
country
because I hate both
artist,
of them.
you could just tell.
Dude, I swear, there's not the only country artist I ever even close to enjoyed was Luke Bryan, and that was back in 2015 because my ex was obsessed with him. So I like heard him nonstop, and like he had some catchy stuff, but like there's none.
Wait.
There's none that I can think of.
Will's showing us a video of a EDM, and there's like a dinosaur in the crowd. Like that's what you get. You don't get that at a country show. You know what you do get is you get a bunch of beers.
I'm not trying to sound like I'm trying to go to either. I'm just trying to think of what I'd like to listen to more, since I dislike both of them so much.
Is which one of these types of concerts are you going to hear less racial slurs at? It's the EDM one.
Right. I get what you mean. If you put two tickets in front of me right now, and you said that this festival, I'd pick the EDM festival.
You'd have way more fun.
I know that, but my point is just like I don't like either genre.
Yeah, no, that's
so
fair.
which one is easier on the ears?
You just want to.
They're both bad.
You just want to see boobs, so you picked EDM.
I don't get, listen.
Just admit it.
I get.
Well,
in
some
theory what you're
EDM
saying.
some EDM is listenable, right? But when I'm
Yes.
thinking EDM, some of them are like,
Right, but I think that there's
like that's what I'm hearing.
I think there's more for me personally, there's more listenable EDM. Because like we play video games and stuff, we watch movies where there's EDM embedded in there, and you almost don't know, or like it fits.
And that's
well
the
to
EDM
where,
I
like,
can
it's cool.
handle.
Right?
Yeah.
But when do you ever hear a country song in like a movie or a video game?
Never.
Or something?
You're
You're
right.
like,
You're right.
fuck yeah.
See, what would I do? You're right.
I just there's not.
You're right. What would I do like without you guys?
Let's try to think of a game.
This is why we need us.
There's a setting for EDM to where it fits. I can't really say that for me personally about country. It doesn't fit for me.
Yeah, no, I get it. Either way, it'd be
Even
bad.
in like a Quentin Tarantino like Western, I would rather him embed an EDM song in there, and I'd probably like the scene more than like a traditional Western song. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, keep the westerns out of here.
I know you love your Westerns.
But I feel like that's a little bit different than country. Like in the style.
In the style, yeah, but they're cut from the same cloth. Like,
No, for
like
sure.
This is the
for
cloth
sure.
here, the country's over there, and Western's over here.
No,
but it's
100%.
still- yeah.
But a lot of Westerns aren't talking about their trucks having nut sacks and beer and shit.
Yeah.
Westerns are talking about horses and shooting pistols
The real stuff.
and
the
desert.
real manly stuff.
Yeah. It's different. It's different. Like the stuff that like my brother does, like it's country, but it's not the cringe country.
But there's iterations like pop country, like whatever.
And that's even worse.
Whatever Taylor Swift was doing.
Ew, don't bring up her.
I'm just saying in general, like there are subgenres even of just like how there is in rock.
But those are even more cringe.
Probably it's all
Like
I lump it all
Florida
under one
Georgia
thing.
line, they're cringe as fuck.
Who are they? What are they singing? again?
What's that shitty single they have?
I've definitely heard them before.
They're the shit. What am I? What are we?
That's all of it.
Hang
It's just all
on.
lumped into one thing.
When I say it, you're gonna
Who's
know.
the one? Who's the band that sings "Life Is a Highway"?
That's Rascal Flatts.
Rascal Flatts.
Yeah.
You don't like that song?
Hell no.
It's not. It's not like it. I'll say this: not everything is made for me, and I'm okay with that. If you like that song, cool. You know,
Somehow,
like it makes me think of the Disney movie. You know, like the Cars. You know, that's what I associate it with. That's not something I would bump in my car. You know?
for some reason, the song I'm thinking about, Florida Georgia Line, isn't even their top song, and now I don't fucking know what it is.
It all just blends in, like I
but
said.
if I sang it, you'd know which one I'm talking about.
Listen, a lot of country music. We're getting way off topic. A
know.
lot of country music.
This makes
though,
for good
and this might,
good entertainment, though.
This might piss you off a little bit. I don't mean any disrespect to
here
the
we go.
Red Hot Chili Peppers. Okay.
Oh, I don't care.
I don't want to give them any strays. But correct me if I'm wrong. You could take their the top 10 Red Hot Chili Pepper songs, and they're basically the same song. They're basically the same song,
Yeah,
guys.
but I think a lot of that is a tribute to how Anthony Cletus sounds the same on everything when he sings everything.
Yeah,
I think
it just-
musically everything is kind of different.
It's yeah, it can change up a little bit, but basically it's the same thing of like the Arctic Monkeys of like when when did this song come out? What album was this? I have that same
Not
problem
cheap
with.
about sick, oh, I just got best kick, but oh, and then is that not?
Yes,
is that not perfect?
Right, that's
Yeah.
spot on. And
Yeah.
the thing is like you could be like, I could say, well, that's this song. And you'd be like, no, dude, like that's not. No, you're
Yeah.
thinking of this song over here.
Yeah,
It's the same thing with country.
but at least they're
What
good.
song is that again?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's better. It is. It's definitely better than anything I've heard on the
but
country landscape.
Bo
but-
Burnham does a good job on making fun of country songs. It's literally called a country song, and it's just like a bunch of lyrics to why country. Do you ever see that?
Maybe.
Do you know who Bo Burnham is?
Yeah, we talked about
Do I know
the
this?
special.
No, not you, Manny.
Yeah, we
Manny.
talked about the special ones.
Yeah.
The COVID one that he did, but
He's really good at kind of making fun of shit, and his lyrics. I'm gonna try to pull it up. I know a lot of fans probably know who he is because he's just so classic. There's too many things. Yeah, a dirt road, a cold beer, a blue jeans, a red. I'm singing it in his fucking song. A red pickup,
yeah.
a rural noun, simple adjective, no shoes, no shirt, no Jews. You didn't hear that. Like he gets into shit. It's really funny. Yeah, it's funny. Anyway, how the fuck did we get on country and EDM?
Daft
We were
Punk-
talking about
Daft
Skrillex.
Daft Punk, and yeah, just
Yeah.
kind of went from there. That's cool though.
Listen,
We don't
that
really
was a
get to-
real conversation. I'm glad we got that on record. Yeah, guys, give us your thoughts on that chestnut of a segment. Anyway,
there was some strays in there.
there was. We did do all the rankings, right? Everyone gave their thoughts.
Yep, did the rankings.
I had another thought about one last thing before we go. On Finney repeating, the guitar solo in that thing sounded just like a John Lennon or George Harrison like solo. The way the guitar solo sound, like if you know what George Harrison sounds like with the wah wah guitar. I just want to throw that out. I know I talk about the Beatles all the time, but I feel like everyone knows the Beatles, so they know what I'm talking about. But George Harrison,
Never heard of them.
Shut up.
The what?
Shut up.
The
Beagles.
The Beagles.
Yeah.
I've heard of the Beagles. Yeah, they're right up there with the Uncle Monks. If you guys know the Uncle Monks.
The Uncle Monkeys.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That was Infinity Repeating by Daft Punk featuring Julian Casablancas and the Voids, and No Buses by the Arctic Monkeys. Another successful week. What are we listening to recently, guys? I also wanted to say that I think that Daft Punk song, or most of them, sound like Joe or DJO. Sometimes with the way his vocals are, and the way that his songs are made, the vibe of it.
What's something about him? It's like Listen or something like that. It's like
Slither or something.
Slither?
I forget.
It's
He's
like
a lot
it's
of
like
good ones.
it sounds like a loop.
Yeah.
That's what that song kind of reminds me of Daft Punk. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a lot of...
You know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I'll be listening to some Daft Punk. Dive in, see what
Yeah?
they've been.
Listen.
I only know like their big stuff. I don't know like
Mm-hmm.
they probably have so much music. It's
Well, they
ridiculous.
do. I went through their whole thing, and it took forever, but they have a lot of gems.
When I first started Warehouse, I had like a Daft Punk phase. It was like November last year. I was like,
They're just so interesting. I just respect them. Like, it's a band that I really respect, even if I don't like
You know what's
everything
crazy
they've
is
done.
you could have walked by them at some point in your life and not even
You would know.
really
I have no... when I look at what they look like, it's so weird. It's crazy.
They don't really, and you could walk by someone like that and not
Yeah.
think twice, even
Yeah.
though you've seen pictures of them. Like, oh, that's just the guy.
For me, it's the Killers. I have been listening to the Killers a lot. I showed Will for the first time Hot Fuss, which is like a classic album of all time.
yeah, I never sat there and listened to the whole thing. I
yeah.
listened to like maybe 2 or 3 songs, so like the
Yep.
most popular ones.
One of the best indie albums ever made, and like you gotta remember that again was an example of a perfect debut album. I think it was a debut album. So when you think about, and Will, when you listen to that, like did you think that was something that was written by a band that wrote their first album?
No, definitely not. Like that must have been like a band that like fucking time traveled, like the Strokes, and like,
Yeah.
somehow it came back with some masterpiece.
It's just not fair how some of these. Yeah, Hot
I-
Fuss was their first album,
I think
2004.
I think I read that the Killers had like to this day, and it could have changed in the last like year or two, but I feel like in the last year or two I read that Mr. Brightside is still like in the top 100 over there. Like it is, that shit is undefeated.
Yeah.
Like it's a mainstay. It's not
And
going
that's
anywhere.
on Hot Fuss.
Is it?
Hot Fuss has that. It has Somebody Told Me.
Classic. I like that one.
And what's the other one I'm thinking of? All these things that I've done, Smile Like You Mean It. Like, every single song on that album is perfect. Like,
The one I've listened to a lot is Everything Will Be Alright.
yeah,
Like the little
that's my
guitar
favorite
at the
one on the
end
yeah.
is so
It's
good.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's such a good fucking song. That's like one of the best all time rock/indie albums, and so I've just been listening to them over. I always enjoy when I go through them. They're so fucking good. They're such geniuses. Not so much recently, but their first like 3 album run, they're just incredible. They're just an example on like, and their new stuff is okay, but it's just not. It's not as good as the old shit. What about you? Will?
I was hoping to sneeze.
Mm.
I will put you guys onto a philosopher by the name of Alan Watts. You can find him most on like streaming, like listening services, listening platforms. But Alan Watts, if you want to listen to like a guy just talked with like beautiful music going on in the background, his perspective on life and just like his perspective on everything, just like it's pretty cool.
Nice.
He makes you just aware of certain things you probably don't think about every day, so that's really nice.
Nice. Cool. That's a good one. It's different. All right, fellas.
I was thinking of setting up because not that I get burnt out with music, I just want to listen to other things sometimes, like other forms of like media.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes I switch it up to like EDM or like opera. But then this morning I was listening to like a bunch of like philosophical and stuff like that. So Alan Watts.
Hell yeah. Alan Watts, The Killers, and Daft Punk. Anyway, guys, that was a great episode. It was really fun. We went off topic, but, you know, something fresh to talk about.
Sometimes.
Yeah, some good opinions there. Guys, we officially have... We have one more... We have the album review and 2 more bonuses coming up.
We're almost there.
And we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Season
we're almost
1.
near the end, season 1, guys. We want to thank the thousands of you that listen to each episode, all the people that are engaging. Please continue to like. Bless you.
Oh, the big sneeze.
Almost got
means
through it.
thank you in sneeze
Yep.
language.
We got. Yeah, please follow, review. We've got a lot of stuff coming up that's going to be huge that we will announce soon. We're working on getting a better setup for season 2 for you guys. And we love you very much. We will see you next week. We will see you.
Just shows you we're grinding.
Save it, we're
through the
almost done.
sicknesses. This is dedication right here. Will
Yes.
is here. He's here.
Yeah.
Please
We
send me
appreciate
money
it.
so I can make it to next week's episode.
Yeah.
So I can buy my allergy medicine. It's
Yeah.
so expensive.
Jesus. But we love you guys. We will see you next week. Yeah, I feel like I always forget something at the end, but I never am forgetting anything.
Blow kisses.
Blum kisses. Mwah, 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 mwah. We love you. We'll see you next week. See y'all later. Bye-bye. Adios. Hasta la vista. What's another one?
Bonjour.
Hasta bonjour. That's hello. Are we starting again?
No, bonjour is also goodbye too.
What?
Yeah.
What the
You
fuck
can
is
use
this?
it both. You can use
Bonsoir.
it as both.
All right. Bonjour, everybody. Mwah, mwah. S'il vous plaît. Hey guys, Jared here. Thank you for listening to the episode. You can find us at Karma and Tranquility on Instagram and Reddit, and Karma Tranquil on Twitter. Our link tree is posted in our description and bios for you to find everything we have to offer. We post a full episode every Wednesday and a bonus episode every Friday.